This October, it will be 29 years. So it's been a long time. And I was thinking about that it's, almost 30 years that there were women being ordained 20 years before I was. So I was, an adult. I had children. My previous church, there had been no opportunity for ordination for women, and in that denomination, there still is no opportunity for women to be leaders in the church. So that was just such an opening for me, opening of heart and mind, to know that a lifelong call that I had, I now had an opportunity to follow that call. It was like my whole life was opening up, and because I had not known what to do with my call. I had no evidence in any part of my life, in my community, in my church, in society, that women had these same opportunities. And, after watching the Philadelphia 11 and seeing people like Carter Haywood, just that courage that she had as such a young woman, and I realized that I didn't have that sort of courage and imagination at that point in my life. I was just accepting what my church had told me, what my community had told me. Even some members of my family said, "This is what you should do," rather than pursue church work and ministry. And so coming to the Episcopal Church, it was so welcoming, and it was at a difficult time in my life. And then to know that women were accepted was truly amazing. And at St. Anne's, Eloise Lester was already there as a priest. And she was the first in our diocese to be ordained as a priest. And she was just a great role model, a mentor. And so that's really when I started thinking seriously about discernment. A few years after that, my committee was formed, and the process started. But even then, it was so difficult because members of my discernment committee didn't think women should be doing that. And I know that may sound strange in this day and age, but it was very critical that of me, that I should be home with my children, that I should be following a more traditional path, and but I knew that God was calling me, and so I just continued and persevered at that point, even though it wasn't at the earliest time of women's ordination. Being older like I am, I can see that whole arc of history of how it has changed, and made me so incredibly proud of the Episcopal Church, that they have struggled with these issues. They've wrestled with the changes in a very traditional denomination. And so it's truly amazing to have watched that, and to know that women starting to be ordained 50 years ago was in between African American men being ordained, and then now LGBTQ people being ordained. And to see that, it is that arc of justice in acknowledging, in our church acknowledging, that every person is a beloved child of God. And so I've really celebrated it. It's been a celebration for me. And it is also, at this point in my life, put me back into a discernment process. So I have been ordained as a deacon for 29 years. I've had such a rich ministry at 5 different parishes and 2 different Episcopal schools. And now I'm a postulant for holy orders and priesthood. So my journey continues, and that call has never diminished.